Okay guys, today we're starting a new unit. It's going to be, technically it's called Unit 6. It is Probability and Statistics. Should be an easier unit compared to the other stuff. You don't have to worry about factoring in this one. Anyway, number 2, make sure you guys are taking notes in your packets. Please make sure you are writing them down for reference. All right, so probability is the likelihood of something happening. Probabilities can be represented in 3 different ways, either as decimals, percents, or as fractions. My personal preference is percents. It would be like, hey, if something, my chance of coming here is about 50%, or my chance about going on vacation this year is about 80%. I think typically we talk in terms of percents. Now, the probability of an impossible event is 0% or 0, technically in decimal form. 0 is the same thing as 0%. The probability of a certain event, that means something that's going to happen. The sun is going to come up tomorrow. That is 100%. Also known as 1. Please don't confuse the 1 in as 1%. The 1 here is in decimal form. Remember that 1 is the same thing as 1.00, which as a percent would be 100%. Okay, so probability, how we determine it, is the number of times the event occurs divided by the number of trials. So, example 1 here. When rolling a die, by the way, that's a 6-sided die, also known as dice for plural. So when we mention die or dice in this unit, they have 6 sides. It's your normal, that you'd play Monopoly or Yahtzee with. Okay, so let's just mark that down. So when rolling a die, what's the probability that you roll a 5? So the probability that you would roll a 5 would be, the probability of rolling a 5 is, there's 1 5 out of 6 total, sides, outcomes. So 1 6 can be represented also as a decimal. So you can go to your calculator and do 1 divided by 6. And just be careful with your rounding. So it could be 1.16 repeating forever. Or if you want to round, 0.17. And then a percent could be, you can call it 16.6% repeating. Or you can even round it up to 17% if you want. All right, there's actually a second question in here. There's also what's the probability of a number less than 4? So the probability of getting a less than a 4 if you roll, how many outcomes on there? 6 total. How many are we looking for? Well, a number less than 4 could be 1, 2, or 3. So that would be 3 out of 6. We must always try to reduce the fraction. So that would become 1/2. The decimal would be 0.5. And the percent would be 50%. So fractions, reduced fractions, decimals, and percents. Example 2, a baseball player got a hit 21 out of 60 times at bat. We're going to find the probability of him getting a hit. So we write probability of getting a hit is 21 out of 60. We must reduce it. Let me clean that up a little bit. Each of those can divide by 3 to have 7 out of 20. So there's my fraction. Your decimal, 7 divided by 20 is 0.35. And your percent, move the decimal twice easily, 35%. Example 3, on a multiple choice test, you know the answer to number 8 is not A or D. If the possible answers are A through E, what is the probability your answer will be correct if you guess? Represent your answer as a fraction decimal percent. So we have 5 choices there. A through E is 5 letters. So the probability of getting it correct would be, if it's not A or D, you take away those 2 and it leaves you with 3/5, 3 out of 5 chance of getting it correct. Divide to get the decimal, that would be 0.6 or 0. You could call it 0.60 as well. And just be careful when writing a percent. It's not 6%, it's 60%. Example 4, a bag contains 36 red, 48 green, 22 yellow, and 19 purple blocks. You pick one block from the bag at random, find each probability. Okay, so what we want to do here is add up. We need to find a denominator to figure out how many blocks we have total. So that would be 14, 16, 20. 125. So we have 125 total. So the probability of getting a green would be 48 out of 125. We try to reduce this, but believe it or not, it cannot be reduced. Now, I do like percents, so what I do is I go to the calculator and I go 48 divided by 125, and that's going to give me 0.384. Then I convert it to a percent. I move the decimal to the right 2 times, so 38.4%. The probability of getting purple, I'm on letter B, would be 19 out of 125. So I'm dividing that now. So that would be 0.152. Move the decimal twice to get a percent, 15.2%. The probability of getting a red, 36 out of 125. So divide that now. I get 0.288. Move the decimal to the right 2 spots to get 28.8%. When you write percents, I'm not a huge fan. Notice I'm not rounding my percents to a whole number. I am giving decimals. When in doubt, when in math, it's always good to have numbers after decimals, especially with probability. All right, the probability of having not yellow, so that would be, well, there's 22 yellow, so that would be 105 minus 22, the 22 yellow. So that would be 103 left over when you subtract the yellow. So 103 divided by 125 is 0.824. And then a percent would be 82.4%. Okay, pause this, see how it goes on your own. Okay, number 1, a quarterback of a college football team completed 30 out of 40 passes. In A, find the probability of the quarterback completing a pass. So the fraction would be 30 out of 40, but we need to reduce that. 3/4. The decimal, 3 divided by 4, would be 0.75. and the percent would be 75%. Find the probability, letter B, find the probability of the quarterback missing a pass. That would be 10 out of 40. If he completed 30, he would miss 10 times. So that fraction reduces to 1 out of 4. The decimal would be 0.25, and the percent would be 25%. Number 2, try this guy out. Find the probability of getting an even number when rolling a number cube. Number cube, again, if it doesn't specifically say, we're going to say number cube is the same thing as a die or dice. So anyway, that would be 1 through 6 sides. So the probability of getting an even number would be the numbers 2, 4, or 6. So we would say the probability of getting an even would be those 3 numbers out of 6 numbers total, 6 sides total. So the fraction, reduce that to 1/2. 1/2 is a decimal of 0.5 or 0.50, and the percent would be 50%. It's half, 50%. Just please don't accidentally put 5%. Make sure you are rounding very, very carefully. Okay. Number 3, suppose you spin a spinner. So that would be like this guy here. That would be 5 segments, like that. Okay, so we would have a red, blue, yellow, orange, and we'll go blue and black. Find each probability. So in A, the probability of getting blue is 1 out of 5, which is 0.2, which is 20%. Now, in letter B, the probability of not getting a black, if you take away the black, there's 4 outcomes that you want. So that would be 4 out of 5, which is 80%. Okay, guys, that was a really quick lesson today. Taking it easy on you guys, so that'll be the end. Just work ahead on the homework, and you guys should easily fly through this. All right, take your time, get it done right, and get those 10 points.